Welcome back to Remediate the World. If you're anything like me, you don't like the weed whacker. And you have fences. And fences have to be maintained. I have a good strategy that I've been implementing here for the past few years, and it's been working really well. I only have to take the weed whacker out in select areas of my yard. And in fact, along this fence line here, I've never taken the weed whacker out. This is a fence here that I've covered with blackberry, and I've got mulch around it on both sides of the fence. I do have a hedgerow right here of cypress that does help during the winter months to block out the neighbors, as well as gives me a little bit of protection against the wind. Because I have this mulch in place, all I do is I run my mower with two of my mower wheels directly on top of the mulch line. No weed whacking necessary. So I have never weed whacked this fence line, inside nor outside. As you can see, it's a little bit overgrown. It doesn't have the most tidy look necessarily, but it's more of an overgrown type of a look. The city's never called me out, so I think I'm in good shape. And I take any limbs that are hanging out into the street or hanging out into my yard, and I weave them back into the fence to keep it a little bit contained. I never take my weed whacker out. So if that excites you to not have to weed whack, and if you're fighting with fencing and trying to figure out how do I maintain my fences, this is a really good method. I put rings of mulch around every single one of my trees for this exact reason. I rarely have to take the weed whacker out, and if I do, it's only around the edges of my raised beds because I haven't mulched the base of my raised beds, and I plan on doing that in the future. I'll probably do is come to the base of my raised beds, weed whack it down to the ground, or mow it down to the ground, put some cardboard down, and then put some wood chips on top of that, and I don't expect to have to weed whack that ever again. When I do mow it, and I'll just ride two of my wheels of my mower right up along the edge of the wood chips or mulch, and that'll be the end of that. I've shown other videos where I have the creeping ivy growing in a lot of my mulch areas as a ground cover. I like that because it maintains its own height, so I just bring the mower right up along the edge. I don't have to weed whack. So if exciting to you to not have to weed whack, then this is a fantastic option. It may look a little bit untidy because of the wildness of nature, but you have to decide, do you want to go with a wild look, or do you want to have a hyper maintained area? So there you have it. That's the best way I've found to maintain my fence lines, as well as any of my wild perennial garden spaces and trees. If you like this kind of material, please comment and subscribe. Thank you for joining me on Remediate the World, and I'll see you next time.